Whoa, this is wrong and a little bit strange. You guys, give me just 1 second to try to sort this out. Hold on, let's see. What did I do? I'm gonna just try to backtrack. I did something like this, and then I'm just gonna drop down. It's better. Stick this like a pivot. All right, I think we got that sorted out. That was, well, to be honest, I don't really know what that was. What it was very strange. And if you ever find yourself stuck in a situation like this, well, good luck. I don't know. I'm just thankful I got out of it. You guys, we are on episode 26 of Guns and Cameras. That means one whole year, 12 months, 25 episodes with 25 very special guests under our belt. And it has been awesome. One crazy adventure, a lot of learned lessons, a lot of great times, great stories, great information. And I am pumped for what we got coming in the second year of building this thing. What we're going to do in this episode is we're going to take the time to look back for a little bit. We're going to go back over the past 25 episodes. We're going to look at the intros. We're going to go behind the scenes, share some of the challenges, stories of building a podcast and a YouTube channel out of nothing. We still have a lot of work to do, obviously, but it's taken 12 months to lay a good, solid foundation on what I hope this platform will become in the years following. And then we're going to look forward into year two. We're going to talk about some of the mission, the vision, the plans, things that we're going to try to roll out. And I say we because we have got to do it together. Guns and Cameras was never meant by design to be just my thing. I want to grow and build and create a community of creators who operate in the guns and cameras industries and create amazing content for people to consume, tell great stories, and to tell them truthfully, honestly, and the way they should be told using the equipment we have at our disposal. So, before I spill all the beans about all the great stuff coming up in this week's episode of Guns and Cameras, I'm just gonna let you guys get into this week's episode. So shooters, are you ready? Stand by. What's up, guys? Welcome to what is a very special episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast. We're talking the season 1 finale, baby. That's right. 25 episodes. This is episode number 26. Crazy. I don't know how we got here. It's gone by very fast. But what I wanted to do with this episode is I wanted to kind of lift the curtain a little bit and go behind the scenes on the Guns and Cameras platform itself. I know, obviously, we're still growing. We've come a long way, but we have a very long way to go yet. But one of the cool things about Guns and Cameras, the concept to begin with, is that it's all about being able to look behind the scenes and see what kind of happens behind the lens of the camera. What you see here on your screen is not real life in a lot of ways. This is the 15th take I've tried to do of this intro to this very special episode. And it just happens to be the one that I liked, and it made it into the edit. There could be others that you'll never see or will never see the light of day unless the editors or the producers or the whomevers behind the project decide to do a gag reel, which, in my opinion, we need to do a lot more of. Content creators, I'm talking to you guys. Influencers, I'm talking to you guys too. We need to see more of the behind the scenes. We need to see you guys fail a little bit more because you guys, look, we all want to have a polished product, right? But some of the most fun for me watching movies growing up was seeing the gag reel at the end where you see like, hey, that's hilarious. They're just people trying to do a job, to act, to tell a story, crew, all kinds of weird things that happen. And we want to see that stuff too because it helps get you off of the pedestal that so often you get set upon, which I think would just, in the long run, help us all. So, before I get too long-winded here, let's take a quick moment and look back at the origin story of the Guns and Cameras podcast. Once upon a time, a year ago, Josh has been working, I'm talking about myself here, Josh has been working as a content creator for in-house marketing agencies, started my own company, 1156 Productions, have been trying to grow and grind and work and hustle, right, to pay the bills, all the while wanting and desiring deeply to have something that is just my own. something that I can control the narrative of, the branding of, the look of, the voice of, something that I get to make the creative decisions on, not my client or my boss or somebody else who comes and says, I don't like that, change it. I wanted to make something that was mine. And for a long time, I mean, we're talking years here. It's like, you know, when you're trying to come up with a design for a new tattoo and you're just like thinking and thinking and thinking, like maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. Where's my voice? What do I want to say? That was the biggest challenge for me, was trying to decide who I am, what I have to say that's valuable to others, and how can I turn that into a channel or a personality or a character that can communicate thoughts or ideas well to my audience. Right? Because in my mind, I'm like, look, I'm just a camera guy. I'm just a normal guy from the Northwest who likes to hunt, to fish, to climb, to do stuff outside. And I like to shoot videos with my friends and with cool people and create cool stuff. I like to make things. I like to make jewelry, aka also known as tokens of valor. I like to paint. I like to draw. I like to print. I like to build brands. I like to shoot videos, take photos. I like to do all that stuff. So how do you take all of those different hobbies and things that I love that are part of my core identity? I mean, I'm a jack of all trades, my friends, which for a long time I thought of as kind of a curse, right? Like undesirable. Well, we don't need somebody who can do it all. We need somebody who's really, really, really good at this one thing. And I heard that from hiring managers and from other companies for a long time. And so trying to nail down a thought or an idea or the beginnings of something was really tough. And there was always the oversaturation thought, right? Like we are our own worst critics in a lot of ways, right? We are constantly, especially if you're like me and you're a little bit of a perfectionist, you're always like self-analyzing and self-critiquing your ideas or your personal vision straight out of existence. And for a long time, that's how it was. It was like, you know what? Like I could do tutorials, but everybody's doing tutorials. There's 10,000 tutorials on how to set your exposure on your camera. There's 10,000 tutorials on what lenses to buy and how the gear performs. Why would anybody want to listen to me? I haven't shot with anybody all that famous or all that big. I haven't been working in this industry for 20 years. I don't have, I don't have a following. I don't have a platform already built. I have nothing. Zero. Zilch. I think at this point in time, when I was still concepting, I think I still had like 200 followers on Instagram. I was putting in no effort at all because I was like, why? And I think a lot of us are there. So this is where Josh is at. Now, this is 1 year ago from today. Finally, 1 year ago, I decided, you know what? Guns and cameras. Those are the two things that are consistent in my life at this moment. I'm all about guns. I'm all about cameras. And there's a lot of really fun crossover, right? Because guns came first, cameras came later. And a lot of the terminology was borrowed from modern day firearms. Firearms back in the day were very mechanical. You had a trigger. You had your flintlock mechanisms, you had all these, and there was gunpowder involved, and then all of a sudden the camera gets invented, and they're going to bring nomenclature from things that are familiar, aka firearms, and then all of a sudden you have the triggering of the shutter, and you have flash powder, and you have a lot of terminology that just transfers right over because they were in a lot of ways similar things. You shoot a camera, you shoot a gun. For a while there, they were taking rifle stocks and putting them on cameras, and you would use it for stabilization. And so I thought guns and cameras, that's going to be my thing. And originally the idea was going to be tutorials, and that's still part of what the master plan is of guns and cameras, but I'm just going to let you guys see from this footage. This is like these are what I call the lost episodes of Guns and Cameras from season 1. Check out some of these clips from the lost episodes of Guns and Cameras from the very beginning. Enjoy. We got all these different camera angles. This is kind of fun. This is the first time I've done this. Hey, what's up guys? It's Josh. Welcome to the first ever episode of Guns and Cameras. We're out at the range today and we're just going to shoot a quick intro, go over some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this video series that we're putting together on this brand new channel. Hey, what's up guys? It's Josh. Welcome to the first ever episode of Guns and Cameras. This is a brand new YouTube channel and or creator channel, show, whatever you want to call it. Gotta loosen up a little bit here. Where's my, probably right here. Yeah, best? Okay. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the first ever episode of the Guns and Cameras show. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Josh. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Guns and Cameras show. Let's do that the other way around. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Josh. What are we doing here? Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Guns and Camera Show. This is the first ever episode. My name is Josh. What we're going to do on this show, this is a quick intro. This is the first time I've done this. Blah, 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 blah. But today we're going to go over some basic fundamentals. We're going to go over the triangle of aperture, or the aperture triangle. Today we're here, I just want to say, what we're going to do? Teasers. Blah, 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 blah. We're going to cover the three aspects of the exposure pyramid. Today we're talking about the second point on our exposure triangle, and that's ISO, or ISO. It's an abbreviation for internal storage organization. It's an abbreviation for something about the sensor. Today we're talking about the exposure pyramid. Today we're talking about the exposure triangle, or pyramid, whatever you want to call it. Basically 3 points of a triangle that make up the things that give you proper exposure of your images when you're shooting guns with cameras. Okay, so ISO setting. Why is it important to you as a camera operator in the gun industry? Let me tell you. So all your ISO setting controls is your camera's sensors sensibility to light, right? So you can basically increase or decrease via your ISO setting how sensitive your sensor is. That's a lot of S's, right? How sensitive your sensor. Say that 15 times fast. So anyway, if that made sense to you, great. If not, let me know, right? This is my first go at this, so we're got to make a rhythm. Anyway, I appreciate you guys taking the time to join me on Guns and Cameras for today's episode. Stay tuned for more in the near future. Have a great day, guys. Stay vigilant, stay safe, stay creative. Y'all are the bomb. Peace out.
Wow. Yeah, rough, right? Didn't know what I wanted to say, didn't have a plan, showed up at the range with a bunch of camera gear and some guns, and I was like, I'm going to make guns and cameras, and there is a reason, as you guys probably picked up on, why that footage hasn't exactly made it until this point onto anything real. Lessons learned, right? That's the whole point of looking back, is taking the time and the opportunity to learn from your mistakes. My mistake back then was I didn't have the brand yet. I didn't have the look. I had the title, but I didn't have anything else. I didn't have anything else figured out, nailed down, built out. Nobody knew who I was. And that was messing with my head. You can see it, the way I talk and the way I'm acting. And I'm still like, I don't know who I am or what I want to say. And again, that's why they're the lost episodes. Maybe someday I'll do more with it, but I think the best thing to do is just to leave it as an example of where Guns and Cameras started, and then we'll just, we'll build on it. We'll reshoot it. We'll do it better down the road. Part of the master plan of year 2, by the way. But yeah, and then so after that moment in time, so I went out and spent, you guys, you just saw a little glimpse. I was out there for hours trying to record this. I came back with so much footage, like seriously, several hundred gigabytes of just stuff that I was like not psyched about, didn't like it, didn't want to look at it. And so it's just sat on a hard drive. But it was necessary. It wasn't wasted time. It was necessary to learn that, hey, maybe I'm not ready for that yet. We're not there yet. It's more work than I have time for, and I obviously am not in a headspace where I don't have a vision for how I want to edit. The pacing, the stuff, the style, all that stuff. And that's, and that's okay, and that's good. So from there, moving forward, we come up into episode 1. Fun fact about me, back in the day, I used to direct and produce TV shows. We're talking like 30-minute local Fox 28 type food shows. I did a fishing show as well. And we would, small crew, small team, we'd roll up in a restaurant and we would shoot and tell the story of the restaurant, the chef and the people, and we'd spotlight these people locally. And what we tried to do when we produced this show was I had the idea of like, what if for the intro of the show we did something kind of goofy and fun, where we take some old school movie magic, some easy editing techniques, right? Nothing crazy, but we just kind of got creative with the camera gear and the hosts, and we did fun things, and we just made it interesting, kind of a silly, goofy intro. And it became a thing, and we did that for 26 episodes, 2 seasons of one of the food shows, and every single intro had kind of a funny take, and I would brainstorm what these intros would look, and those intros kind of set the tone for the whole episode of the show. And so coming to Guns and Cameras, I learned from, again, trying to produce those training episodes, that it's a lot easier to fill time up and create content with a lot less editing if you have like a conversation happening, right? And so that's when I had started concepting this idea of, well, what if I highlight and spotlight other people who are creatives in our industry? And it doesn't just have to be, at the time, I was thinking just camera operators, because for me, coming from where I was at, I was like, hey, like, we're people too. And this is, again, you know, I don't want to get on a soapbox about how, you know, the egos need to be stroked, right? I try not to intentionally have a big ego, just because I think that can get people into a lot of trouble. But bottom line is that the relationship between an influencer and their videographer or camera operator is very important. And if you don't have a good match, or if there's a misalignment in the creator and the subject, right, then it's going to come through in the content. And I don't know that we celebrate as an industry, and I'm not talking about just the gun industry, I'm talking about the whole creative industry. I mean, with the exception of like the Peter McKinnons and the YouTube camera operators, right, which is a select few, we don't celebrate the artists behind the lens as much. And so I wanted to create a platform where, like, hey, I was asked by a good friend of mine, who runs the Range Minded podcast, to come on his podcast, to come on the show. And I was like, you want to talk to me, man? Like, I'm a nobody. I'm just a camera operator. And he's like, I don't care. Come on the show. So I went on the show, first time ever. And I was like, you know, I came away from that experience feeling pretty awesome. It made me feel good, be able to share my stories and talk about some of the stuff I'm dealing with. And I think it's interesting. And it was encouraging. And I kind of, from then, decided that, hey, I want to help other people feel that way. I want to shine the light on some of these people who have been operating in the shadows for a long time and highlight some of their stories, because as camera operators, right, like, we are, take the Bear Grylls, for example. Bear Grylls is out there surviving in the wilderness, and who's right there surviving in the wilderness with him? The guy running the camera, right? And the guy running the camera gets to see all the stuff that doesn't make the cut, which makes for some pretty interesting stories of, hey, where'd the idea come from to put the camera there? What was it like for you hanging your whole body outside of a helicopter trying to get that shot? Did you wipe out and fall? Like, what, you know, there are a lot of challenges. It's tough. And those make really great stories. So I thought, hey, you know what? Guns and Cameras is going to be a platform. And that's when I really had the creative idea for creating something that had potential to me. I saw it as something valuable, more than just entertainment or education. It was, I want to make something that is by design meant to invest into the lives and creative abilities of a group of people who have chosen to work and operate in an industry that is very, very challenging. Both physically, geographically, and spiritually, and creatively, emotionally, right? i.e. Guns and Cameras was born. That is where it came out of. And I lined up for the very first episode one of a great friend of mine, Alexandria Rowland, aka Calibro, who right now at this very moment is probably getting ready to go to Goals in Knoxville. Bummed I couldn't be there, but hey, maybe next year. But I asked her, I'm like, hey, do you want to be guest numero uno? Guest number one on a brand new show called Guns and Cameras, where it's all about the creator, highlighting her stories, her experiences, the things that she's learned, the cool stuff that she's done, all that stuff. I'm like, hey, I want you to be guest number one. Are you down? And she said, absolutely. And the episode, it kind of just came alive. I brought the idea of the goofy, silly, funny intros, originally with the concept of trying to recreate a style of the guest's work, which in the case of Alexandria's episode was trying to capture a muzzle flash, which I was not successful at, by the way. Harder than it looks. But this was the end result. Check it out.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast. Did you know that when you pull the trigger on a firearm, you set off a chain reaction that involves intense pressure, hot gas, and a lot of fire, and it all happens in the blink of an eye? And today's guest, she has found the formula for being able to capture that entire explosive event with one click of her shutter button. We're out of the range today, and while the episode is running, we're going to try to recreate that exact shot, and at the end, we'll share with you our success or our failure But in the meantime, let's get into the episode. So without any further ado, shooters, are you ready? Stand by. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Best. Today we have a very special guest with us, photographer extraordinaire, Gundy's 2024 Photo of the Year winner, Alexandria Rowland, aka Calibro on Instagram and social media. Alex, thank you for being on the show with us today. Tell us about yourself.
Well, Josh, thank you for having me. I so appreciate you having me on the podcast. And I just have to say, I love this concept that you've created. I always wanted like creatives to become more together, and I'm just so glad you're taking the initiative to make that happen. So I think that's really cool.
So, there it is. The beginnings. The foundation has been laid. There is nothing harder in probably the creative process when it comes to building something like this than getting the first episode edited, designed, cut, and put together. And because you have nothing, you're starting from absolute scratch. You have to have, you got a logo, maybe. You got typefaces, maybe. You got colors, maybe, right? If you don't, you have to find them, and you got to pick them. You got to pick sound effects, tracks. How's it going to sound? How's it going to look? What's the vibe going to be? Textures, overlays, grits, all that stuff. You gotta design it. You got to make it, because it doesn't exist until that moment. And until you are put in a position where it's like, hey, here's my framework. I have my interview with Calibro, and I want there to be a musical interlude intro with like some stuff that shows their work. And how do you do that, right? Well, at the time, I'm like, you know what? Going into this process, part of it was I'm going to start using the tools at my disposal. One of those was baby artificial intelligence. Hadn't really been rolled out yet. But on the other hand, I also had Motion Array and Artlist and all these platforms that had templates and like pre-built motion graphic animation stuff. And so I scrubbed through a whole bunch, and I found a few. I found one that I liked that kind of fit my vibe. I found a track that fit my vibe, cut it down, and I just started building. I grabbed assets from Alex and plugged them in, and I was like, I watched back the intro montage, and I was like, yo, like this is something, right? Plugged in the logo that I bought from a designer on Fiverr, and I think I spent what did I spend? $250 on getting the Guns and Cameras logo designed. But I had that, plugged that in, put the music, and I was like, yo, this is something. And when you find that moment, like that defining, when you see it for the first time and you hear it for the first time, I think I've watched that intro like 10,000 times, just because I'm like, whoa, this is cool. This could be something, right? You start to see it, and then I went out with Ricky. We were doing a stop box shoot out at Fernand Rod and Gun, and Ricky, who is still working at Stop Box, came out, and he held the camera for me, and I think I'm wearing a Stop Box shirt in that first intro because we were doing some other stuff. And yeah, we did I'm like, I want to make it and design it the way I would like it to be down the road. Like, obviously I don't have sponsors. I don't have, like, there's no, no, it's not big enough yet for that, right? But I want to already, knowing, like, I come from marketing. I know where the dollar value is. I know how these things work. So I'm like, I'm going to build this out already so that there's like an intro. And then halfway through, I'm going to do like a 30-second or a 30, 41 minute ad area. And then I'm going to have an outro. And that's what we did. So intro, right? Got that nailed down, introduced the show, introduced the guests. It kind of like the whole Shooters Are You Ready thing just kind of happened, right? It was like, we were there in the moment, and I had my shot timer with me, and I'm like, hey, like, Shooters, are you ready? Stand by, and then the beep triggers the intro. It was like, it just kind of started coming together creatively. And I just went with it, right? And I had to make the critical decision at this point with episode 1 to let kind of go of the perfectionism, right? This idea that it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be good enough, right? And it was started coming together, and I was like, yo, the intro was good. I felt the energy felt good. We, yeah. And then it just kind of came together. I paired it with the intro, and then it rolls into Alex's introduction back here because I want to keep it interesting, right? Like, and then halfway through we cut to the ad slots, and the ad reads are fun. And I was kind of like, you know what? I don't have sponsors yet, but I'm going to put an ad read in. I'm just going to say it's been brought to you by 1156 Productions. I'm the producer of it. I'm the company that's making it. So brought to you by 1156 Productions. Tokens of Valor was like brand new baby idea as well, where I needed a non-digital outlet as a side hustle, and I started making jewelry out of sterling silver, and I realized I have all these brass casings that I collect from cool shoots that I've done that just sit around. I'm like, maybe I can make something out of them. So I started making jewelry out of brass and copper and silver, and I'm like, well, Tokens of Valor, like I'll throw Tokens of Valor in there. So, brought to you by 1156 Productions and by Tokens of Valor, right? And then let's see, what else would I throw in there? And then the Guns and Cameras merch. I finally got around to making T-shirts, and everything just kind of starts like, again, once you've got that momentum, it's a lot easier to just ride that wave, and that's what I did. The voice starts to evolve, right? Like as the more you do it, it's like a muscle. The more you work it out, the easier it becomes. My concern now is like if I ever get picked up, like one of my dreams right now is to be the host of like a discovery show, like a micro type of personality in our space. And my concern now is like falling back into that rhythm of like you get up there and you're like, hey, this is Josh, well, Guns and Cameras. And they're like, whoa, this isn't Guns and Cameras. This is whatever such and such a show. But it becomes so familiar. And it is very much like a switch. You step in front of the camera, you throw the switch, and all of a sudden you're like, your charisma level goes up, and you're moving your hands in ways like this to make it more interesting, and you're talking to the camera, and you're gesturing at the camera, and you're moving your voice up and down, doing weird things. But it becomes second nature. It becomes part of your identity. It becomes a part of the identity of the show, of the brand. The voice starts to evolve, the sayings and the catchphrases. Like right now, I'm thinking about adding oh, look, a butterfly.
Well, there's a butterfly.
Because it seems like lately there's been a buttload of butterflies whenever I'm shooting the intros, and I almost always get distracted and say, oh, look, a butterfly. It just happened today. Anyway.
I got to go eat some food, man. I'm hungry. Butterfly. Yeah, I don't know if the butterflies are going to be a thing now. I don't know. I should make a T-shirt about it. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, it just started coming together. Episode 1 really is your first episode, and this is just a pro tip to those of you guys watching this that are thinking about maybe starting something of your own. The first episode is always going to be the hardest because you have to build the assets from scratch. Episode 2 becomes all of a sudden so much easier because, speaking of episode 2, we got Mr. Mitchell Miller, aka Mitch Eller on Instagram. Mitch, crazy talented, signed up to be guest number 2. Great episode as well. But that episode becomes that much easier to make because you already have the intro template, right? You just got to change out the pictures and the text. You already have the music sorted. You already have the look, the overlays, the textures. All that stuff's already decided for you. All you got to do is tweak it and modify it for the next guest. Their graphics, their titles, their handles. And then the intro, I just started pulling from the content of the show. Again, I think in episode 2, let's take a look at the intro from episode 2.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the second ever episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast. Sometimes we creatives, we get a little bit carried away, and we tend to take things way outside of the box, which can make some of us in the two-way industry a little bit uncomfortable. Well, let's just say our next guest is a master at taking things outside of the box, but keeping them well within our comfort zones in the two-way industry. And he lives that prime life. For him, it's prime life or die. That's what I'm trying to do today. I'm out here, got my stogie, mowing my lawn, and hey, we spend all the money on this stuff. We might as well enjoy it once in a while. But I digress. That said, let's get into the episode, shall we? Shooters, are you ready? Stand by.
Oh man, that was. Yeah. Let's just real quick before we start breaking this down. Let's just jump to the outro. All right, you guys. This has been Guns and Camera, the podcast. I'm Josh, your host. We just chatted with Mitch Miller for the last just over an hour. If you don't already follow him, I strongly encourage you to do so. Go check him out on social media. His Instagram handle is Mitcheller. It's spelled Mitcheller. Some of the best photos. We're looking forward, Mitch, to seeing what you come up with next. So thanks so much for being on the show. I'm going to hit the stop recording button now. So if you got some last words, throw them out there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is a lot of fun for me. So I can't wait to see who you talk to next. And I'll be listening.
Right on. Stay tuned, guys. Guns and Cameras. Have a great night.
Well, we've been out here living our prime life for this whole episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Mitch is a fantastic dude, has mad skills, and like I said, no lie, I honestly believe that he's the Thomas Kincaid of the gun industry when it comes to content creation. We're out here, we lived our prime life. Here's some of the images that we came up with. Hopefully we captured the essence of Mr. Mitchell Miller, aka Mitcheller, on Instagram. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please like, share, follow. You guys know the drill. Just do all the things, right? We really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and stay tuned for more because we got a lot more coming. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Again, I'm Josh, host of Guns and Cameras. I gotta go take this stuff off. It's getting heavy. Have a great evening, guys.
This whole intro was so funny. I chain smoked that cigar. We did a lot of takes. And I mowed that same stretch of grass like 15 or 20 times. Chain smoked that cigar. By the time I got the take I wanted, I was so tripping. I was so buzzing. But it became easier. This is also, and the reason why I wanted to skip to the outro is because the example of photos that popped up. This is the second and the last time that I think I did that in the whole series, because I was like, it's just, I don't want to try to recreate and just fail all the time the looks. And if I can't give it 100% effort in trying to recreate and use it as like a teaching or explainer moment, then it's not valuable to the show. So I did away with that after that one, going into the third episode. But bottom line is, like, the second episode becomes so much easier, and then the third is even easier after that. And then by the time now, here we are, 25, now 26 episodes in. And it's become like it's so much easier now to create and produce these behind the lens episodes. I pre-record a bunch of them up front. Like, I have 6 episodes still ready for the next couple of months for season 2, already recorded. I have the content already. Like, I could build the episodes right now and schedule them out. Like, the model becomes so easy to reproduce that eventually the effort is less, and then you get to the point where you're like, hey, we can maybe add something, we can add more stuff. And the biggest challenge of all is to get to the point where you have content that's ready to be consumed, right? The importance of having a backlog of consumable content is huge, especially if you're newly discovered by somebody like that's looking for a new podcast, and if they hop in and there's only 2 episodes, and if they're really good, that's great. But after 2 episodes, they got to go find some more content to consume. And so the value of having multiple, like a year, 25 episodes, like right now, if somebody discovers Guns and Cameras for the first time, there's a solid 25 hours plus of podcasts for them to consume. And then there's going to be more added on top of that. So there's a lot of stuff there. Let's look at some more of these intros, because these are kind of fun. I want to unpack some of these. So let's see. That was Mitch's. What was another fun one? Let's look at Kirsten. So this is episode number 3.
Turkey legs. Just think about those juicy turkey legs. Oh, hey guys. I'm in Texas right now. Saw a couple of fat tom turkeys and figured, hey, might go shoot a couple. I might go shoot a couple. Oh, it's Texas. Nobody cares. Today's guest got her start in social media management and marketing as she picked up a couple of guns, she picked up a camera, and now she is well on her way to becoming one of our industry's top creatives and influencers. Her story is very inspiring, and I think y'all are gonna love it. Oh, y'all, I am country now. Anyways, let's get into the episode, shall we? Shooters, are you ready? Stand by. Beep. I'm gonna give them both barrels.
Turkey legs. So, fun story. Roman and I were we were on a trip down in Texas for Stopbox USA. We were shooting with Jade Struck. This is at her little private the range that she uses up there. And we had some time the first day we arrived before we shot. The sun wasn't great. We didn't get a good sunset. And I was thinking like, hey, like I need to get this intro shot. So, and we're in Texas, so why not? So I grabbed this. This is a dummy shotgun. It's not even real. And this one took a lot of takes. It took me forever to figure out like how am I gonna say this? How I'm gonna like again you kind of have an idea when you start with the intros, but then until you get there in front of the camera and you loosen up and you start getting the one you want. I obviously didn't have my gun belt here. I didn't have my shot timer. I just had a camera and I barely had that shotgun. That thing was like, I tried to grab the dummy ribbon under my hand and there was legit turkeys there. Do it again. As you can see. And that was kind of where the concept came from. And then from there, the intro was born. Both barrels. Weird. That was a weird one. And then we slam into the intro featuring Kirsten's work. Kirsten was awesome. Her story is great. Still one of the cool... I think that she has a great, very inspiring story of somebody who didn't originally begin as a photographer. It's not like she wanted to be this, but she started in marketing and kind of fell into it. And now she's been very successful. She now has her own camera and she's doing a lot of really great work. So if you guys don't follow Kirsten, be sure to go check her out. Go watch episode number 3 of Guns and Cameras. Let's see what else we got. I don't want to go through all these. No. Which is another good one. Some of these intros I'm trying to pull out of just a lack of time because at this point in time, I'm working full time for Stopbox USA as their partnership manager. Before Guns and Cameras started, I kind of had like not like a breakdown, but almost like a midlife crisis of just like wanting to be done. I wanted to sell all my cameras. I didn't want to look at a camera, touch a camera ever again. I was like ready to be done. I was like, I don't want to shoot 15-second cinema. I don't want to like be doing these cheesy, hooky stuff all the time. And so I had kind of 2 paths before me. I had this path of going with as a producer for a local agency called Colormatics, or working at Stopbox as a partnership manager. And the description of my job was being able to be the guy that basically works with influencers and goes and makes the brand deals and connects the brand with the personalities. And that's what I was doing at the time. And I didn't have a lot of time available. So a lot of these kind of first intros, it was like I'm pulling these ideas out of my head and they have to happen in the moment if I'm doing something fun. Like, for example, let's look at Doug's. This is number 7. This is in the Stopbox USA studio.
Oh yes, yep, definitely gonna go viral with these, 1000%. Oh hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast. You know, not everything we do as creatives happens out under natural light or in the or on the range. You know, a big part of what I do and what others do is right here in a studio setting just like this one, under the lights. It's a little bit hot in here. A little bit too cozy, if you ask me. But anyway, our next guest, I think you're really gonna like him. He's a master at capturing these dark, moody, low lit, black images that I almost guarantee you've seen his work. So I can't wait to share our next guest with you. So let's get into this week's episode, shall we? Shooters, are you ready? Stand by.
Also, fun fact, I was the guy that not came up with the idea, but inspired the idea for the SHOT Show, Stopbox USA SHOT Show coverall uniform, because of those camo bibs I was wearing. That was one where I was like, I didn't have a lot of time. Doug is all about shooting in low light in studio, does that stuff really well. And I'm like, hey, it works. A fun one, let's go to episode number 9.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to this week's episode of Guns and Cameras. We just finished up shooting with a very important influencer down at the Staccato Ranch in Austin, Texas, but I can't tell you who it is because it's redacted. Speaking of redacted, our next guest knows everything about redacting things, and I really think you're going to enjoy this week's episode. So let's get into it, shall we? Shooters, are you ready? Stand by.
Redacted images, Dustin Wood. Dustin is awesome, crazy talented. If you don't follow him already, be sure to go to Redacted Images, give him a follow, and check out his work. But he's all about redacting things, and so I bought these goofy, I got them here somewhere, I got these goofy black bar glasses like from the Spy Kids movie. And we were down in Texas. This is at the Staccato Ranch Range. We had just been shooting with Michelle Viscusi and Tim Kennedy. This was right before all of the stuff happened with Tim Kennedy, and that, so we went down and shot a whole bunch of stuff with Tim, and I don't know how much of it's ever going to be used. I don't know. Some of it's been used, but we'll see. But anyway, just fun locations, doing fun things. It takes me sometimes as quick as 10 minutes to get all the intro, outro, and middle ad content for one of these episodes, and I try to keep it fun and interesting. The goal is to get to the point where I can do in-person stuff. And so shortly after that trip to Texas, we were back down in Texas for the Demolition Ranch Range Day, which is how we did the intro with Bryce. We had Bryce Fritzl from Ballistic High Speed on, and which was super fun. Bryce is a super neat guy. But we were down at Demo Ranch together. I'm like, hey, I floated him the idea. I'm like, we're going to both be down there. How about we shoot the intro real quick and we can do it together.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Josh. Welcome to another episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast. We're down in Texas. We're at the Demolition Ranch Range Day, as you can hear behind me. I really think you're going to like our next guest. He's an expert at everything that goes slow. I think he's around here somewhere, maybe.
What's going on, dude?
What's up, Bryce?
I heard you saying something about slow motion or something.
Yes, sir. Actually, I really think that people on the podcast would be interested in learning a little bit more about the complexities of what it is you do to capture those amazing shots.
Your podcast, Guns and Cameras, I'll take the camera side of it all day long.
Sounds great. So, hey, guys, we're going to kick this episode off. So, shooters, are you ready? Stand by.
This intro, it went okay, Bryce, I think, if you're watching this. Mostly it was my fault. I'm like, you got to warm up. I was not warmed up for this. And Bryce is a pro. He's been doing YouTube for a lot longer than me. Obviously, way farther ahead. And so for him, it's like, again, you're in this position where you're pro. You can walk on camera and be like, here it is, whatever, improvise. And for me, it was definitely like, it took a few more tries. Plus, you're standing with somebody right there, and you're like, oh my gosh, I hope this guy doesn't think I'm an idiot. But really fun episode, fun intro to do with Bryce. I'm trying to think of who else. Oh, there's so many, you guys. 25. It's awesome. All these guys are awesome people. I think, and then I wanted to also start introducing, again, going back to these fun tricks. So I think to date, let's look at Larry Hastings. This is episode 21. This was a fun one.
I loathe this planet and all the people who dwell upon it. Oh, hey. What's up, guys? Welcome to this week's...
I don't know how Vader does it. You just can't breathe in these things. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast. You know, sometimes having a good costume, good props, and great sets can take your stories from being just, and turn them into whoa. And our next guest, let's just say he's a master at taking ordinary things and turning them into extraordinary sets, costumes, and props. I mean, we're talking like Halo ODST armor, and even better, Halo Spartan armor. I mean, come on, who doesn't want that? I'll take 2 right now. That being said, I can't wait to get into this week's episode, so while I get back into character and start focusing up my Sith Lord powers, you guys get into this week's episode of Guns and Cameras. Shooters, are you ready? Stand by.
So, conceptually, not challenging to do this. It was just like, hey, I wanted to do this. Again, butterfly, see that? Oh, look, a butterfly. It's the butterfly effect in real life. But in this case, in this video, I'm dressed up as some sort of sci-fi Sith Lord Jedi thing with a mask. Like, I had this get up for a photo shoot that I did from previous years, and I was like, hey, like I'm gonna bring this out. I'm gonna do this whole falling from the sky thing, which I want to do a tutorial on because a lot of this is it's just like it's movie magic. It's really simple. It's not complex in the edits to be able to bring in these kind of special effects. Or visual effects, if you will. But this was a lot of fun for me. And after I did this one, I'm like, I gotta do more of these. Just where it's like, hey, simple, easy techniques that you can do to kind of spice up your intros and stuff. Where was if we cut to the middle? This was funny doing this. So I got this lightsaber. It's hanging up on my gun wall right now. And dude, no lie, I love this lightsaber. This thing is like the dopest prop I have. I'm trying to find a way to use this thing more because it is that cool. Like the Star Wars nerd in me just starts coming out because I'm like, yo, if I had that when I was a kid, yo, different story. Too fun. But I bought this thing and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna bring it out and use it and do this like a little bit. Got some weird looks at the range. I'm not gonna lie. Grown ass man with cut off shirt thing swinging a lightsaber talking to the camera. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. You got to get over yourself a little bit and have a little bit of fun.
Die, you Jedi. Yeah, that's a home run. You guys, can you imagine if we had these when we were kids? I mean, these are incredible. I mean, if you wanted to feel like a real life Jedi or a Sith Lord, you got to get one of these lightsabers. I mean, it's just insane.
And then, of course, at the end of this one is real quick. Let's go back and again doing more of this stuff. It's really easy to do. Like the production value is there, and this is the classic action film pull, pop, toss, walk action sequence.
So you guys, I love goofing off with costumes and props. I just think it makes everything more fun. So I'm going to for sure try to incorporate a little more theatrical stuff into future videos, including our exit. I got a hand grenade here, and like every hand grenade in Hollywood, you just got to pull the pin, pop it, toss it, and walk it.
Super fun. I got these dummy grenades from the general store in locally, and these are great. These are legit training grenades from the base locally. Heavy pineapple grenade here, and so I bought a bunch of them, and I'm like, yo, that's all she wrote. Love it. Yeah, and it just kind of starts happening. They're not all that way. Like for example, the most recent one, Caleb White. Oh, look, a butterfly, right?
Hey, what's up, guys? We are halfway through this week's special edition, 1 year, Guns and Cameras, episode 26, and that means it's time for me to tell you it's been brought to you by 1156 Productions. It's also been brought to you by Tokens of Valor. Tokens of Valor is my boutique jewelry company where I take ballistic components like brass and copper, combine them with sterling silver to create one-of-a-kind, hand-forged, wearable works of art. If you or someone you love is interested in getting a piece made, go to @TokensOfValor on Instagram, send me a DM, and we'll get something started for you. Also, fun fact, the Tokens of Valor website is just about done, and that's just going to make everything a whole lot easier with respect to getting pieces made. So be sure to stay tuned for more information on that. Also, big news, you guys, Guns and Cameras now has its very own website. If you go to gunsandcameras.io, that's where you'll find everything related to the Guns and Cameras show. That's information on past guests, future guests, contact page, and a merch store where you can buy cool things like this tank top or patches and stickers and all kinds of other fun things that'll be coming down the pipeline in year 2. If you go to the website and you buy something, thank you. All the proceeds are just going into helping grow this platform and to do cool stuff for you guys. Now that all of that is out of the way, you guys, it's episode 26. It's 1 year of Guns and Cameras, special edition episode. 25 guests, we have been looking back and looking behind the scenes, which has been awesome. We're talking about the present, and now we're going to look into the future in the second half of the episode. So I'm going to get back into shooting some steel. You guys enjoy the rest of this special edition episode of Guns and Cameras.
Guns and Cameras. Lots of fun, lots of opportunity. 25 episodes, some incredible guests, and I just want to just shout out some of these people like Caliber Rowe, Alexandria Rowland, Mitch Miller, Mitch Eller, right? Kirsten Wales, Chris Van Loon, Jacob Fuchs, Doug Nays, Connor, Kenzie Fitzpatrick, Liam Ward, Bryce, Dustin, Clayton Cassidy, Haley Press, Alex Aubrey, Morgan Gregory, Zach Beam, Josh Nelson, Colin Perryman, Ethan Nagel, Hunter Kao, Larry Hastings, Matt Lingo. Matt was awesome. Ben Smallbone, which was also super fun. If you aren't familiar with what Ben's doing, if you're into Christian worship music and you've heard of the band For King and Country, Ben is part of that family. His brothers are the lead singers in the band. He shoots all their music video. He's now doing movies. Really awesome dude. But it was a fun interview because from his perspective, from like the gunplay and stuff, like Hollywood looking into how do you create in the Homestead series good tactics and stuff that looks realistic and not like super cheesy and corny when you can only use airsoft guns because of insurance reasons. Crazy stuff, but a great episode. Caleb White, legend, absolute freaking legendary photographer. Caleb's episode is not one of my favorites because I love all of them. Because like the cool thing about Guns and Cameras for me is it's become like this is my collection of people. These are my people. These are Guns and Cameras people, right? And I'm a collector, and now like not in a weird way, you guys like chill, but like it's just like these are all my people. Like Caleb White, freaking that guy got run over by a truck in New Zealand, should have been dead, didn't die, worked through rehab, came back, and was inspired to create his own company, and now he crushes. Like he's just a legend. And all these dudes, all of their stories, right? It's treasure. And I don't mean that to sound super corny and cheesy, but it is like these people have done and created some of the most amazing, incredible, creative work that you could probably see on the internet, in print, Instagram, and if you didn't know about them before, you probably never hear about them. Just because we provide a service, we serve other people, we serve the brands, our goal is to make others look good. We never really our egos tend to stay for the most part pretty small because we don't often jump in front of the camera and start talking about ourselves because sometimes artists are a little bit more shy. Sometimes they're not. Most of us are in the middle road space where it's like, hey, you know what would really make our day? And again, I'm not pity us. I'm not saying that. Because we love what we do, right? But what would make our day is when you see an ad or you like walking around SHOT Show. It's like I go up to a booth and I'm like, well, holy crap! Like you see this big photo of this guy. Like I took that. That was my work. If somebody came up and be like, holy shit, you shot that? Let me sign the picture for me. Like I don't know. Like it's just that kind of stuff is cool to be recognized for your work. I mean, I think everybody wants that, right? And look, when you're an in-house guy, not knocking in-house guys, BT dubs, but you get that feedback from your boss. If it's good work, they're like, good job, Josh, good job, whomever. Like pat on your back, nice work, way to crush, way to make the brand look great, proud of you, did awesome. Here's a promotion. But when you're a freelancer and you're working for yourself, you don't get a chance to. You don't hear that. It's got to come from me. I got to be the voice, right? If it's my work and I'm doing it, or hopefully the client, right? But sometimes the clients are like, yeah, it's good, it's great. You don't get that emotional satisfaction, and it just kind of becomes another thing. See your work on a billboard. Well, it's cool. First time, second time, and again, this sounds really super awful, you guys. So I apologize. This is not a pity us, pity party. Pay attention to the creators. That's not what I'm trying to do. All I'm trying to do here with Guns and Cameras is celebrate the talent because it is a gift, right? People will say, good photographer, dime a dozen, right? Good videographer, you throw a rock, you're going to hit a videographer in the wild somewhere, right? There's 10,000 of them, everyone, and they're all the same. They're all okay, and they're all good. There's nothing really special. Anybody can do it, right? And I'm like, you know what? This Guns and Cameras is built to just basically kind of say, that's not true. There are there is exceptionally talented people. There is a demographic of an exceptionally talented group of people that have chosen our industry, with basically blackballing themselves from any real other normal industry. Like right now, for me, if I wanted to go into Adidas or whatever you want to call it, or Nike, and be like, yeah, I'm a photographer, professional, been shooting for 10 years. Oh, can we see your portfolio? Yeah, here's my portfolio. Guns, more guns, a machine gun, a person holding a gun, shooting another gun, deer being shot by a gun, back, like, they're going to be like, thank you, these are all great, but you're not our kind of person, right? And so there is a level of not like social suicide, it's like professional suicide when it comes to choosing this industry as your niche. Because, right, like, again, and that's just a reality, you guys. It was just a stupid reality. I agree. I think it's totally wrong and ridiculous in the United States of America that you would be blackballed from being able to be professional because you shoot guns. Fun pun, right? Shoot, yeah, whatever. You guys get it. But these people have chosen that, and we know it. Like, I made a conscious decision after my first SHOT Show. I was not posting any of my gun content to my 1156 Productions Instagram. I was trying to keep it as neutral and as vanilla and granola and as possible to not alienate the potential work from non-gun industry brands locally in my industry, in my market. And but all the best work, all the stuff I was stoked about, all of the fun things that I've been doing, everything was guns, and I loved it all, and I didn't want to post it. It created a major like point of contention for me, big time identity problems, like. And I came back, took a couple of weeks off with Caleb's advice. I nuked everything, took some time off, and came back and was like, you know what? If they don't like it, screw them. And I started posting all of my favorite gun photos, like just blitz posted, and basically made that decision and be like, hey, like, if the people in my mainstream market don't like what I'm doing and they don't understand the industry, then that's on them. I am a damn good photographer. I am a damn good videographer. I am a damn good editor. I am really, really, really good at what I do. So are these people. And look, I can shoot anything. It's not just guns. Put a shoe in my hand, put a glass in my hand, baby products, kids products, beauty products, people, portraits, anything. I can shoot it all. I could shoot it all. I can shoot it all. But I choose this. Why? Because this is important. And I believe that there was a time where I'm like, hey, the Second Amendment is important. And it should be my right to have free speech to want to shoot and produce content in this industry without having to be censored or whatever for it. And so there was a point of just like, you know what, I'm choosing to work in this niche, one, because I love guns. They're fun, they're important for my protection, my family's protection, for hunting, for provision, for safety, security, all of that. Guns are hugely important. And not just guns, weapons in general, the ability to protect oneself from a tyrannical government or other people who wish to seek, kill, and destroy my family. It is important for freedom. And I believed at the time I started to really go in on this, it was like, this is what I want to stand for. And hang the costs. But it is a difficult decision because, and I'm just going to communicate this to some of you guys might think like, man up, like get over it. And I'm like, look, dude, I get it, right? I get it. I do. But it is very hard. It's very hard because here's the thing. These people, these 25 people, I've seen their work, you've seen their work if you've been paying attention to what's happening in the show. They do exceptionally good work. I mean, their photos are insane. Their photos are great. Their videos are great. Their talent is great. Their personalities are great. Everything about them, great, great, great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Put them in any other industry, shooting anything else, they'd probably be celebrity photographers. Great personalities, great people to work with, super driven, super determined. Fiercely love the culture, the content, the people, and the freaking product. Most of these people could outshoot 90% of gun owners. Right? I'm not going to lie. Like, we are all very competent with guns and cameras. And these people, like, again, nobody's Nobody's talking about them. They don't, nobody's inviting us to go to freaking Canon or Sony camera events. Nobody's calling us up. And again, not complaining, not pity party. I'm just pointing out the fact that this group of people needs to be celebrated. And that's why Guns and Cameras exists, to bring this all home. So now we've covered past, present, future. We've looked at some stuff. Oh, there's so much more I can show you. Let's really quick, let's hit a gag reel.
Watch this, you guys. Too cool. Cool. Check, check. These spikes are where we're starting. Wow, it is a very cold, wintry, snowy day up in North Idaho. Yes it is. That's a statement of an obvious fact. What do we want to say here? Yeah, it's a little bit chilly out in North Idaho today, you guys. And sometimes, just sometimes, people hit a home run. I don't like home run, it sounds too weird. All right. It is too cold to be at the range today, and yet here we are. He's the man behind everybody's, no he's not. Wow. What was I had a thought. That's what I need. I need my shot timer. Hold on. I'm really excited to share this week's episode's guest with you. He's the man behind, this is the Flux Defense Raider chassis for the SIG P320. I happen to have an X5 Legion in mine. None of this matters. SIG platforms, frickin' A. I'm just not even gonna bother talking about SIG. Winter in the Pacific Northwest, so what are you gonna do? You know who I'm talking about. We're talking about Mr. Alex Aubrey, AKA Overtime Alex. No, I did this wrong. Frickin' A, Evan. Frickin' A. I'm not, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I said that 15 times. Especially because, well, why? Because, hold on. We're gonna do this again. Wow, it's really snowing. Flux Defense. Frickin' A, I'm so close, dude. I'm so close. All right. Wow. Man, this thing is like probably the coolest thing since sliced bread. Oh, look at that, last round. Watch this, you guys. Too cool. Rolling. Tight. Bouncy. All right, hey, you guys, we are halfway through. Also, if you could, like, share, follow, subscribe, leave a review on any of the podcast sites. It would really help me out because, trying to make a living. Just kidding. I'm just doing this for fun. Anyway, you guys, thanks for hanging out. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Wow. Running. All right. Chickadee-doo-dah. Cool. Are you ready? Stand by. We're gonna go again. Maybe if I just put the thing in the thing, it'll work. Also, fun fact, forgot my prop, I'm gonna have to go get it. Tools like these, magic arms and, other things, and put them together to catch. All right, I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna keep trying. That means it's time to tell you that it's been brought to you by 1156 Productions. And by, wow, I'm dizzy. We are now live on the brand store with all kinds of fun things like this tank top. Check it out. Seriously. All right, here we go. Go to 1156productions.com. Hold on. We gotta start this one over. There's a lot to remember here. Just more haphazardly, kind of just like chuck it. Check, stay microphone. Here we go. Okay. All right, so maybe if I take a C-clamp and I connect it to the handle of the gun. Oh, you guys, guess what? Oops, sorry, buddy. We now have a brand store. Let's get into it. I'm gonna do one more, I'm sorry, buddy.
No, I'm sorry.
All right, you guys, I bet you if I take this thing over here and I connect it to the other thing with the one thing that you can buy on Amazon. Whoa, sorry, bro. We have, I'm gonna start again, both men and women. If you're into that sort of thing, jewelry. I gotta start over. I don't wanna make people feel stupid. Wee! All right. This is not as easy as it looks. You guys, that was bad. Now I'm just dizzy. Okay, Stand by. Let me. You guys have a great day. Like, share, subscribe, follow. You know the works. So, thanks for joining. I am going to give up. Okay, here we go. And it's the end. AKA POV. I'm saying AKA a lot. I don't know why, but I am. You guys, if you enjoyed this week's episode, which I did, I'm sure you did. Let's see. That's it. That's the end. There's the thing.
We need more gag reels, folks. If you're watching this and you're a content creator and you're sitting on a whole bunch of footage of great outtakes, let's see more of those. Let's see them. We got to see them. Everybody loves a good gag reel. Never met anybody that didn't love a good gag reel. In fact, most of those family movies growing up in the 90s, I was like, gag reel at the end, got to see it. All right, you guys, we've talked a little bit about the past. We've talked about the foundation of guns and cameras. We've looked at some clips, and hopefully it's been entertaining for you. We're coming up on an hour. I really hope this hasn't been like the most boringest ever special edition episode of a podcast for you, but it is what it is. Can't do much about it. I mean, I could do more about it, but, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, moving on. So let's talk a little bit about, before we close, because we're coming up on an hour, let's talk about the future of guns and cameras. Some of the cool stuff that I'm cooking up here for the second year. Some of the we're going to talk a little bit about what is happening, what will happen, and what I would like to happen, and then long-term kind of down the road stuff. So, first up, what's coming up? Big news. I got a co-host. I'm bringing on a new guy. I can't do this by myself all the time, especially if I want to grow it. I need people to help me. And so locally, while I was working at Stopbox, one of their videographers, his name was Evan Fitzpatrick. Evan is a great dude. He's not new to guns, not new to cameras, new to the guns and cameras space, right? When he was a kid, he was did some competitive shooting, which is more competitive shooting than I've done. Recently, he started getting back into it. He competed at a local Glock match, and he did it on his own. Nobody told him to. He wanted to do it, and he showed up, and he did it, which is a big reason why I asked him to come on to the Guns and Cameras as a co-host, because I need somebody that can show up. And so Evan Fitzpatrick, he's going to be joining as much as I believe he can, the Guns and Cameras platform as co-host. I'll put his handle right up here. If you don't follow him already, be sure to jump over to his Instagram, give him a follow. I want to, what is it? Where's my phone? Is it I am Evan Fitzpatrick? Sorry, Evan. I should have known this beforehand. Let me look. Do I have Instagram on here? Instagram. Yep. Search for Evan. I am Evan Fitzpatrick. See, I got it right. Don't be mad at me, Evan. On Instagram. Go check him out. Give him a follow. Check out his work. He's doing really great stuff for Stopbox USA. Yeah, he's going to be co-host of Guns and Cameras. He's going to help me shoot stuff. I think we're going to grow, and I think he's a great fit because, again, he has nothing but passion for this industry, and he wants to grow, and I want to grow. So, big news, new co-host, Evan Fitzpatrick. I was hoping he would be on this episode, but Stopbox has got him busy doing other things right now, so such is the life of the 9-to-5ers. Sorry, Evan. It's just the way it is. We'll sort it out. Don't worry about it. So that's the first kind of piece of big news. Things that are happening, is happening, has happened. Wow. Willy Wonka. What else? I got my notes here. We are continuing Season 2, Episode 1 of Behind the Lens. I got a great guest lineup for the first couple episodes. Oh, crap on a freaking stick. Lights. Was it just a... You turd. These small rig lights. Speaking of technical difficulties, I'm going to leave all of this in here, man. This is the way. This is Guns and Cameras, you guys. Freaking A. All right. And we're back. You guys, I apologize for that little delay. For you, it was instantaneous. For me, it was about 5 minutes. I had to, this light over here decided to take a dive, and I needed to put up something else. Fun fact, the small rig battery-powered spotlights are great, but their batteries are trash. And for whatever reason, if you plug them into AC power, they don't let you go beyond 20% intensity. something I got to figure out. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode. Speaking of future episodes, we were talking about season 2 of Behind the Lens. So we have some awesome guests lined up for season 2 of the Behind the Lens series. So that series is going to continue. We've got a bunch of episodes already recorded, and those are going to continue on the regular 2-week posting interval. So 2 weeks from today will be season 2, episode 1 of Behind the Lens with another creator. We're expanding it though to include people who have run camera, who are now actors. We're including people who maybe just work on guns, maybe just work on cameras. We're trying to cover the whole gamut and keep it interesting and not get so tunnel vision with we don't want to put ourselves into a corner with only focusing on camera guys. So season 2 hopefully will be a little bit more like broad spectrum. More costume designers, more set designers, more VFX guys. We're going to talk to directors, producers, actors. It'd be really great to get some of the big name gun tubers on the podcast and talking about growing their platform and how they started. Because the weird thing is like we live in a culture and a society now where you can like become a professional YouTube celebrity. Weird, right? So we're gonna open it up. Season 2, we got some great guests lined up. I'm really excited to share those with you, so be sure to stay tuned with that. Also coming up for sure, we are going to increase our frequency of posting on YouTube. So I'm really going to try to grow on the YouTube side. That's going to include, not full on hour 20 plus episodes, maybe depending on the subject matter, but we're going to revisit and try to, now that I have help with Evan, we're going to go back and we're going to try to do the tutorials. We're going to do gear and product reviews. We're going to talk about techniques, old school, new school, history, film history, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to try to be more valuable with that. We're also going to try to include just some more general entertainment stuff. Being creative, for sure, want to do more collaborations. That's kind of a big goal for this coming year, is to be able to not just interview, but actually like go meet and shoot with and interview in person some of the talent and turn that into episodes for you guys. So that's on the docket, as well as bringing in a new series. Maybe even doing some like critiques. That's one thing that I want to do a lot more of, because there's value to the creator community of saying, hey, we're doing a call for a critique episode. So submit your recent work for review, peer review, not like mean negative stuff. Like, we're not in the business of like, this stupid idea, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not doing that. We're talking about professional peer review, being able to look at your work and talk about what are things we like, what's good about it, what's struggling with it, where could it be better. And we're talking across the gamut. We're talking color, we're talking VFX, sound, pacing. Pacing is big. Pacing is a huge thing. I'm a musician, grew up playing drums, and that's where I get a lot of the rhythm for edits, and that's something that's not spoken about a lot, is just the pacing of the edit. It's something that we want to talk about more of. We'll do a tutorial on that too. So, more new series that's coming up. Pretty stoked about those. So we're gonna try to I'm gonna work with Evan on nailing down specifically which ones we really want to tackle. For sure, up front is gonna be basic tutorials. So we'll go over like season 1 of running the camera or something like that, or camera tactics or whatever. It's just gonna be going over the fundamentals of how to operate a camera, how they work together, what they change, and how you can change your look and make creative decisions with just those, like what they call the exposure triangle. How those working those 3 points can increase or give you gives you more control over what look you get. Because I think a lot of us go on YouTube, find the best settings for a camera, put it on that, and just run in that without fully understanding, like, hey, you have flexibility in moving these things around that's going to help you become a better creator and storyteller ultimately. So we got more of that coming. What else? Hosted episodes. So that's something that I want to do more of. Just like where it's like not hijacking, bad word. I grew up pre-2000, so hijacking still off the whatever, forget it. But what we're going to do is we're going to have, I would love to have people like Caliber Row, Alex Rowland, if you're listening or watching to this, would you like to take an episode of a thing and teach? Either talk about a specific style, could be talking about whatever, it could just be like your voice, your style, whatever. Hosted by, special episode, Guns and Cameras, hosted by Caliber Row. Stuff like that. I want to do more of those. Just because, I think it keeps it interesting. Unless you like hearing my voice all the time, sometimes it's nice to hear from other people. I don't know. I thought it'd be a cool idea, so we're brainstorming that. I really, 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 really want to do in 2026. So this is maybe next year, a creative campout. That's going to be basically an event hosted by Guns and Cameras and probably some other sponsors, where we just, we get the in-house guys, we get freelancers, we get people of all levels out to a cool place, either in the desert or in the Northwest or whatever. And it's just like a weekend or a week of lectures, classes, workshops, peer review, fun stuff, shooting guns, tanks, driving tanks. That'd be cool. I don't know. Where we just get together creatively and learn and grow and make and sharpen each other. Iron sharpens iron, and there's no better way of growing and getting to know your community than having something like that. Community events, and something that's for the creatives. I'm not talking like Gundies, and I'm not talking like goals or any of that stuff. It's like it's not a gun event. It's a gun creator event specifically. So I want to do that. So stay tuned for more information on the creative campouts. And those don't necessarily have to be like, again, the cool thing is I want Guns and Cameras as a platform to be almost like a guild mentality where, yes, I'm the founder, but there's a lot of us in this industry that are very capable of hosting a workshop. Like I'll sanction it, I'll help promote it, we'll help finance it, we'll work together and figuring out ways to make that happen. But if you're a part of this community and you want to do a Guns and Camera creative campout that's hosted in your neck of the woods, right? And then you want support from industry and brands, like it'd be cool to be able to have little subsidiaries that pop up, where it's like Guns and Cameras Nashville or Creative Camp GNC Creative Campout Nashville 2027. I don't know, whatever. We'll see. I want to do something like that. That'd be fun. So we're going to do those. The one I'm really particularly psyched about is the GNC Awards. Guns and Cameras is going to do an award show, basically. It's not meant to be in competition with the Gundies. What the Forged Relations guys have done with that has been awesome. It's been super inspiring for me and for a lot of other creators to pursue, like winning a Gundy Award. It's like a big motivator. But the challenging thing with the Gundies has always been like, it's not based off of the quality. It's not the workmanship, right? Like, I mean, that's part of it, but it boils down to your success and the probability of your success is you're competing against giants. If you're a small guy like me, right? Like, I don't have a platform with 1 million subscribers. I don't have, I have 6,500 followers, I think, ish on Instagram for the 1156. Guns and Cameras is growing, but I don't have anywhere near the voting flexing power ability of some of these bigger influencers and or these bigger channels, and it's David and Goliath a lot for the little guys. And so I don't want this award show to be based off of for lack of a better term, like a popularity contest. Not knocking not knocking you guys, not knocking Gundies, but I want it to be. I want people who are just starting out, who know their work is probably good or they shot a really good video, to feel like they have a shot at winning a GNC award. Right, and so it's going to be formatted more like the Academy Awards, where it's all really about the workmanship. There'll be a category for sound design, sound engineering. There'll be a category for motion graphic or animation. There'll be a category for color grading. There'll be a category for editor of the year, like stuff like that. Right. There will be an entry fee, but it'll be affordable. It's not going to be like $100 per submission like some of the big Addy Awards. It's going to be more like $5 a submission. Right. Proceeds from that will go into funding the trophies and the stuff, the prize packs or whatever. Because again, it'd be fun to win something for second and third place for a category, right? Gold, silver, bronze, whatever. So it'd be kind of like the Addy Awards from marketing industry meets the Academy Awards meets Gundies, right? So the GNC Awards, the goal for me is to launch the first version, which will probably be a rough first version, but it's going to be the foundation. Again, we're starting from nothing. Will be fall of 2025. It'd be great to be able to have like some sort of icon or work for influencers and people going down to SHOT Show. If you're a freelancer, to be able to go to a marketing director at the show and say, hey, here's some of my work. This one in particular won a GNC award from 2025, like gold, silver, bronze, whatever. I want it to be valuable to the creators and fun and, again, peer review, critique, competitive. It's good. It's good stuff. So I'm really super excited about the GNC awards. So be sure to stay tuned for more information about that. Yeah, I got big ideas, you guys. The sky's the limit. I'm talking to a lot of different creators because, again, this is kind of an open forum, a guild mentality. We're all in this together. I firmly believe that in the generation of storytellers that's coming up, and I'm not using Hollywood as an example, but I believe that in the gun industry, I believe this 100%. You've heard me say it before if you've been following the show, that we are fostering and incubating the next generation of the best storytellers in our industry, because you guys who are watching this, you guys who are creating this work, you are creating from a perspective where there are no limitations. There's no woke creative director telling you, oh, you can't say that, or oh, you can't have that big of a gun, or oh, you can't put the camera there because it's too dangerous, or it's too violent, or it's too intense, or it's too real, or too raw, or too emotional. Like, nobody is telling you that in this industry. Our creators are creating from a perspective of how much bigger can I go? You know, I don't have a lot of budget, but how much more action can I bring? How much more fire? How much more violence? How much more emotion? How much more grit can I bring? And we are unique in that, in the current climate of how things are being made and how stories are being told. There's a realism to our creators where it's like there's no black. I mean, it's like in your face, raw firepower, right? The louder the engine, the bigger the explosion, the more, the more intense. We are the curators of intensity, visual intensity. And I think that needs to be captured and trained and supported, and that's what I want guns and cameras to be that. Long-term goal would be to have a platform big enough, bringing in enough income where guns and cameras is doing what other becomes a production company where we're funding freaking I had a buddy, Jacob Fuchs, J Infinite Media, we were talking the other day, and he's like, what about Guns and Cameras original content, like actual freaking short film, miniseries, movies, feature length with actual guns and real explosions and and all kinds of stuff. So there's big vision and big goals for what Guns and Cameras is going to be in the coming years, and I'm going to keep at it. I'm not saying it's going to be next year. Honestly, if we can get through year 2 and just achieve some of the small things that we've set out to do, the Guns and Camera Awards, get a creative camp out on the books, again, growing the list of people in the network, finding ways to support. Again, I want to be able to have Guns and Cameras be a venue where if you want to sell work, if you want to network with other brands, like it'd be really cool to me if big brands are coming to Guns and Cameras looking for creators because they know that the best of the best have been on Guns and Cameras. I don't know. I think it's important for people to work towards things. It's okay to not, I've been working in this industry for forever, and until recently I didn't feel like I was a professional. I felt always like I was still a lot more to learn. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like I am a professional. I know some things. I've done some stuff. Put a lot of time, effort, money, and blood, sweat, and tears into becoming the best that I could be with a camera. And a lot of you are probably somewhere on the ladder of that journey. I'm not saying I'm arrived, obviously. There's still a lot of mountain to climb here, but the bottom line is that I would like to use Guns and Cameras as a platform to be able to support you guys in your endeavors and your growth, providing you with information and tools and resources, and not in a coachy, hey, you got to pay to play. I'm not going to gatekeep information behind an $8,000 subscription to my 10 Steps to Success program. Guns and Cameras is going to be a platform that is here to support you as a creative and to encourage you and to inspire you and to tell you that, hey, you got good work. Here's where you're great. Here's where you need improvement. If I had a resource that would be guaranteed to do that in a way that is professional and friendly and encouraging, hells yeah, I would be reaching out all the time. Hey, can you critique my work? Hey, can you tell me where I can improve? What should I buy? What shouldn't I buy? And not from a hokey YouTube, hey, buy this camera perspective. I am trying to be separate from the gears of consumerism here, just in my own pursuit. You don't need the newest, latest, greatest hot rod of a camera. You don't need it. You don't. And honestly, it'll save you a lot of money. So we're at an hour 20. Holy smokes. I didn't believe I could talk to the camera for that long without sound I don't know. I hope this has been good for you guys. Again, special edition episode. It's not crazy fireworks. Again, year 2. 2 year. We'll do something bigger, better at the 2 year. anniversary of Guns and Cameras. But you guys, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for supporting Guns and Cameras. Thank you for being a creative person who has chosen the hard path and the niche that is the hardest to do work in. Thank you for believing in freedom and for supporting the Second Amendment, First Amendment and Second Amendments. A lot of great stuff in the works. We got big plans, big goals, big dreams, and the only way they can be achieved is if y'all help out. So I'll just throw this in there because I have to, and I feel like I need to be better at it. If you're watching this at the very, very end of the podcast, special edition episode, you've lasted this long. If you are watching this, please go to YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button, turn the bell on. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. Be honest. If you don't like it, put a 3-star up there. Something is better than nothing, I hope. I think. I don't know. It's engagement, right? Does that count? Whatever. But you guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. A lot of great stuff coming from Guns and Cameras. And enjoy this silly, goofy little outro. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night.
All right, you guys. This is a clear gun, making this the end of our special 1-year edition of Guns and Cameras. And wow, you guys, I'm flabbergasted. It's been crazy. I don't know where the time has gone. 12 months goes by pretty fast. 25 episodes. It just seems like yesterday I was getting fired up to try to launch the first episode and with Caliber Row. But here we are now, 26 episodes in. And we got a lot of great stuff coming up in year 2. And we're just going to ride the wave of this momentum. And I can't wait to see where it carries us. So much awesome coming up. We got a great star-studded lineup for the first couple of weeks or episodes of the Behind the Lens series. We're launching a couple of new series. We're gonna try to make this happen. We're gonna try to take on a lot more, keep it interesting for you guys, valuable content, not just for the creators, but also for like the new guys, people who are just entering our industry. Maybe you're new to cameras, maybe you're new to guns, maybe you're into both. I don't know, but we're just going to try to keep it fun, interesting, safe, exciting, and valuable to you guys. We're trying to build a lot of stuff. Personally, I'm super pumped about trying the first year ever this fall of the Guns and Cameras Awards, or the GNC Awards. I think that's going to be huge, and I'm pretty pumped about that. So yeah, lots to look forward to, you guys. Thank you so much for spending your time with me and the Guns and Cameras podcast. Thank you for listening to the stories of the creators that we featured and for giving them a follow and giving them some engagement. These are the men and the women who are creating the content that you see in the gun industry. And that's influencers, that's brands, that's manufacturers, that's all that stuff. And I know they appreciate your encouragement, and I appreciate you guys so much. We couldn't do it without you. I couldn't do this without you. Yeah, wow, 1 year, holy smokes. I wonder what year 2 is going to look like. Assuming the wheels don't fall off this great wagon, we got a whole bunch of stuff looking for you to look forward to. So while I quit rambling, I got to go eat some food, man. I'm hungry. Ooh, butterfly. Yeah, I don't know if the butterflies are going to be a thing now. I don't know. I should make a t-shirt about it. Anyway, whatever. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out, and stay tuned. Year 2, it's inbound, and it's going to be excellent. Have a great day.